The Old West is a period in American history that spanned the mid-19th to early 20th centuries and was marked by lawlessness when a number of prominent individuals faced the challenge of maintaining order and justice. From legendary gunmen to brave marshals, these lawmen have become iconic figures of their time. In this video, we delve into the life and career of the 10 most famous lawmen in the Old West, uncovering tales of their bravery and unwavering commitment to upholding the law in a land where danger lurked around every corner. Remember to hit the like button because it helps us a lot. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and press the notification bell to not miss the upcoming interesting videos. 1. Wyatt Earp. Wyatt Earp is the best known of all the frontier lawmen of the American West. Soft-spoken with nerves of steel, he has survived countless gunfights thanks to his extraordinary patience and uncompromising attitude. But his reputation extends beyond his role as the lawman for the famous Dodge and Tombstone City. He is also a buffalo hunter, miner, and card dealer, stagecoach driver, saloon owner, etc. throughout many years. Wyatt Barry Stapp Earp was born to Nicholas Earp and Virginia Earp in Monmouth, Illinois on March 19, 1848. In 1879, Wyatt, along with his brothers James and Virgil, looked for opportunities in Tombstone's silver boom. Unfortunately, this move brought them into conflict with a group of outlaws known as the Cowboys. Notorious figures such as Tom McLaury, Frank McLaury, Ike Canton, and Billy Canton have repeatedly threatened Earp's life. Tensions escalated to a point in the infamous gunfight at the OK Corral on October 26, 1881, where Wyatt, along with his brothers and Doc Holliday, killed 3 of the Cowboys. The aftermath of the gunfight only increased hostilities. Virgil is ambushed and wounded, and Morgan is tragically murdered. Seeking justice for his brother, Wyatt, along with Warren Earp, Doc Holliday, and others, formed a federal posse to bring down those they believed were responsible for the attacks. The pursuit resulted in the deaths of 3 more cowboys at the hands of Wyatt's determined group. Unlike his brothers and Doc Holliday, Wyatt was never injured in any gunfight, adding to the mysterious legacy that has followed him even after death. Earp died on January 13, 1929. Known as a lawman, gladiator, and Western boxing umpire, he was best known for his handling of the Fitzsimmons-Sharkey match in his role in the OK Corral gunfight. This only changed after his death when Stuart N. Lake's wildly flattering biography, Wyatt Earp, Frontier Marshal, was published in 1931, becoming a bestseller and establishing his reputation as a brave lawman. Since then, Earp's fame and notoriety has increased through films, TV shows, biographies, and works of fiction. Long after his death, he had many detractors and admirers. 2. Wild Bill Hickok. James Butler Hickok, better known as Wild Bill, was a wagon master, soldier, scout, lawman, gunfighter, gambler, showman, and actor well known in the American West. Wild Bill was born in Troy Grove, Illinois on May 27, 1837, to William Alonzo Hickok and Polly Butler Hickok. Hickok is mainly known for his legendary shooting ability. While Hickok claimed to have killed numerous gunmen in his lifetime, his gunfight career only lasted from 1861 to 1871. According to Joseph G. Rosa, Hickok's biographer and Wild Bill's highest authority, Hickok killed only 6 men in gunfights. He fought and spied for the Union Army during the American Civil War and became known to the public after the war as a scout, marksman, and professional gambler. He was involved in a number of notable shootings during his lifetime. Hickok was involved in a number of famous gunfights, including the Rock Creek Station shooting, the McCandless Massacre, and the Hickok Tut Shootout. He also served as a police officer in various cities, including Abilene, Kansas, where he was hired by the mayor to clean up violence and mayhem in the area. In 1876, Hickok was shot and killed while playing poker in a saloon in Deadwood, Dakota Territory by Jack McCall, a cowardly gambler. The deck he is said to have held at the time of his death is called the Dead Man's Hands. 2 pairs, black aces and 8s. Hickok's good friend, Charlie Utter, received the body, organized the funeral, and purchased the burial ground. He He was buried in the cemetery outside Deadwood on August 3, 1876. Hickok remains a well-known figure in frontier history. Many historic sites and monuments commemorate his life. He has even been depicted many times in literature, film, and television. 3. Bill Tilghman. William Matthew Tilghman, Jr. was a career lawman, gunfighter, and politician in Kansas and Oklahoma during the late 19th century. Tilghman was the sheriff of Dodge City in the early 1880s and played a key role in the Kansas County seat wars. Bill was born in Fort Dodge, Iowa, on July 4, 1854, to William and Amanda Shepard Tilghman. In 1889, he moved to Oklahoma, where he was involved in a series of land purchases. During his tenure as Deputy U.S. Marshal in Oklahoma, he was recognized for capturing the notorious outlaw Bill Doolin and assisting in the pursuit and destruction of other members of Doolin's gang, which earned him a reputation as one of Oklahoma's 3 guardsmen. Tilghman never achieved the celebrity status of his close friends Wyatt Earp and Bat Masterson, but remained a prominent figure in the American Old West. His memoirs were made into a 1915 film that he himself directed and starred in. After surviving decades of tough outlaws, he was shot and killed on November 1, 1924, while he was trying to arrest a corrupt Prohibition officer named Wiley Lynn. Although he has passed away, his legacy lives on, largely thanks to a biography published in 1949, and thanks to the efforts of his second wife. In recognition of his notable contributions to the Old West, in 1960 he was inducted into the Hall of Great Westerners of the National Cowboy and Western Heritage Museum. 4. Pat Garrett. Patrick Floyd Jarvis Garrett was an American Old West cowboy, rancher, and lawman best known for killing Billy the Kid. He was the sheriff of Lincoln County, New Mexico. Born in Chambers County, Alabama, on June 5, 1850, Pat Garrett was one of 7 children born to John and Elizabeth Garrett. Garrett was a famous cop who was recognized for his tenacity and fearlessness. He has participated in a number of historic gunfights, notably the Battle of Lincoln, in which he fought against a gang of outlaw cowboys. Garrett entered politics after leaving law enforcement and working as a tax collector and sheriff. He co-authored The Authentic Life of Billy the Kid with Ash Upson about his experiences as a cop. Garrett was assassinated in 1908 while working as a police officer in Donna Ana County, New Mexico. Brazil was later tried. However, he was acquitted. Controversy still exists over whether Garrett's murder was a conspiracy to gain his land or if it was just simply a dispute with an irate Brazil. While Garrett's remains lay in the crematorium's living room, dozens of people gawked at Billy the Kid's killer. On March 5, 1908, he was buried in Las Cruces, New Mexico. 5. Bass Reeves. Born to slave parents in 1838 in Crawford County, Arkansas, Bass Reeves would become the first black U.S. deputy marshal west of the Mississippi River and one of the greatest frontier heroes in our nation's history. Reeves served 32 years as a federal peace officer in the Indian Territory and became one of Judge Parker's most respected delegates. Reeves brought back some of the most dangerous fugitives at the time. He was never injured, although his hat and belt were shot off on separate occasions. In addition to being a marksman with rifles and revolvers, Reeves has developed superb detective skills over the course of his long career. By the time he retired in 1907, Reeves had made a record of more than 3,000 criminal arrests. He killed 14 outlaws to protect his life. Reeves must arrest his own son for murder. Benjamin Reeves is accused of murdering his own wife. Reeves's health began to deteriorate after retiring. He died of Bright's disease on January 12, 1910. He was buried at the Agency Cemetery in Muskogee, Oklahoma, but the exact location of his grave is unknown. 6. Bat Masterson. Lawman, gunfighter, gambler, and well-known Old West character, Bat Masterson was one of the very few who lived during the lawless days of the Old West who wasn't there to make a name for himself or to count the notches on his belt. He was a genuine and honest man who didn't have a reputation for violence, but was loyal to the end in defending his friends. William Barclay Masterson was born on November 26, 1853, in Iberville County, Quebec, Canada, to a working-class Irish family in Quebec, but he moved to the western frontier at a young age and quickly rose to prominence as a buffalo hunter, civilian scout, and Indian warrior on the Great Plains. He later rose to fame as a gunman and sheriff in Dodge City, Kansas, during which he was involved in a number of notable shootings. In the mid-1880s, Masterson moved to Denver, Colorado, and established himself as a sporting man or a gambler. He became interested in prize wrestling and became a leading authority on the sport, attending almost every major match and title fight in the United States from the 1880s until his death in 1921. He became a close friend of President Theodore Roosevelt and was one of Roosevelt's federally appointed White House gunfighters, along with Pat Garrett and Ben Daniels. On October 25, 1921, Bat Masterson died of a heart attack while working at his newspaper desk. At the age of 67, he broke down after writing his final column for the New York Morning Telegraph. He was buried at Woodlawn Cemetery in the Bronx, New York. 7. Heck Thomas. Henry Andrew Heck Thomas was a lawman at the United States border, most notably in the Indian Territory. He's known for helping to bring law and order to the region. In 1889, as a deputy in Fort Smith, Arkansas, he attempted to capture Ned Christie, wanted for the murder of a U.S. Marshal. Thomas was born in Athens, Georgia on January 3, 1850, to Lovick and Martha Thomas. Thomas was among the lawmen who ended the run of the Wild Bunch, also known as the Doolin-Dalton Gang. The surviving member of the gang, Emmett Dalton, said that being relentlessly pursued by Thomas, they committed 2 simultaneous robberies in Coffeyville, Kansas, intending to leave the territory quickly. But that failed and 4 gang members died in a gunfight there. In August 1896, Thomas led a team to track down and kill outlaw Bill Doolin. Thomas is also noted for his bravery and ability to deal with dangerous situations. He was loved by both Native American tribes and local settlers. While working in the Indian Territory, Thomas arrested more than 300 wanted men in a dangerous job that felled 15 other Indian Territory officers. During his tenure as U.S. Deputy Marshal, Heck was known to hunt down the most dangerous outlaws for higher rewards. In 1902, Thomas moved to Lawton, Oklahoma, to serve as sheriff for the next 7 years. After a heart attack in 1909, he finally retired at the age of 59. Thomas died at the age 62 in Lawton, Oklahoma, on August 14, 1912, of Bright's disease. He was later buried at Highland Cemetery in Lawton, Oklahoma, where his grave remains to this day. 8. Seth Bullock. Seth Bullock was a lawman, business owner, politician, sheriff, and U.S. Marshal. He was a prominent citizen of Deadwood, South Dakota, where he lived from 1876 until his death, operating a hardware store and later a large hotel, the Bullock Hotel. Bullock was born in Amherstburg, Ontario, Canada, on the 23rd of July, 1849, to George Bullock, a retired English major, and his Scottish wife, Agnes Findlay Bullock. Seth Bullock was a close friend of President Theodore Roosevelt. The late U.S. president once commented on Bullock as follows: "Seth Bullock is a true Westerner, the finest type of frontiersman." When Theodore Roosevelt was elected president, Bullock organized a group of 50 cowboys, including Tom Mix, to ride in the presidential inaugural parade of 1905. Later that year, Roosevelt appointed Seth Bullock as the United States Marshal for South Dakota, a position he held for the next 9 years. On September 23, 1919, Bullock died of bowel cancer and was buried at Mount Moriah Cemetery in Deadwood. The late Sheriff Bullock is laid to rest next to such legendary figures of the Old West as Wild Bill Hickok and Calamity Jane. 9. Dallas Studenmeyer. Dallas Studenmeyer was a gunman and lawman who gained notoriety for a shotgun duel that was later dubbed the 4 Dead in 5 Seconds gunfight. Studenmeyer was born in Aberfoyle, Alabama, on December 11, 1845, one of 9 children of Louis and Elizabeth Studenmeyer. During his lifetime, Studenmeyer was involved in more gunfights than most of his more famous counterparts, such as Wyatt Earp, Bat Masterson, Elfego Baca, Luke Short, Doc Holliday, and John Selman. He is said to have successfully tamed one of the most violent towns in the Old West, El Paso, Texas. Studenmeyer is often described as tough and excitable, especially when drinking. He has a feud with members of the Manning family. The feud came to a tragic end when Studenmeyer and the three Manning brothers had a fierce gun battle. Studenmeyer was shot from behind by James Manning, killing him instantly. He is buried at Allerton Cemetery, Texas. In the end, James and Doc Manning were arrested but acquitted when the verdict was deemed self-defense. 10. Frank Canton. Frank M. Canton, born Josiah Horner, was a famous lawman, gunman, and cowboy who, at one point in his life, was an outlaw in the wild days of the Old West. Frank Canton was born on September 15, 1849, in Harrison Township, Henry County, Indiana. He was quickly hired as the top executor of the Wyoming Growers Association, a group of powerful herders in Johnson County, Wyoming. He was later elected sheriff of the county. He made his reputation in the notorious Johnson County War of Wyoming in the 1890s and was involved in the unlawful hanging of James Averill and Cattle Kate. He spent most of the rest of his working life in law enforcement for the court of hanging judge Isaac Parker. Frank Canton has established himself as a tough and honest lawman. On September 27, 1927, Canton died of cancer and was buried at Fair Lawn Cemetery in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. Please like and share if you find the video content interesting and useful. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and comment below so as not to miss the upcoming interesting videos. Thanks for watching.